Hey guys, today we are going to be doing an art project on a really cool artist named Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock's art, this was inspired by him. His art was very interesting, and a lot of the times when people look at it, people are like, why is he famous? Why did he get paid so much money for these artworks that look like anybody can do them? A 2-year-old could probably do it. And while yes, that is true, a 2-year-old probably could make art that looks very similar to Jackson Pollock's. However, Jackson Pollock was the first person to do this type of art. He was the first person to think, let me take this paint and make it like an extension of my body and really try to express my feelings just through movement of paint. If you want to know more about Jackson Pollock, like always, I will have a presentation up on the website so you can go through and you can read more about him. I strongly suggest you do it. He's really interesting. There's also a short little video in the presentation that kind of shows him and his process as well. So, for this project, you will need paper. If you have like thicker watercolor paper, that works best, just because on thinner paper, paint kind of warps it. If you don't have this kind of paper, you will also want like some thin cardboard, like a Mountain Dew box or like a soda box, frozen dinners come in that thin cardboard. You'll want something like this because for this project, you'll need to cut out like an outline that you'll have sitting down on top of your paper, and you want something kind of heavier. If you're using just like some thin paper like this, the paint's just going to seep right through it. You will also need some scissors, obviously, to cut out your design, a pencil. If you have access to like actual like house paint like this, because maybe your parents got a little stir crazy and decided to start repainting everything during this quarantine, and if they have any leftovers, go for it. This is the best kind of paint to use. If not, if you just have like regular acrylic or tempera paint, just put that into like a little container and water it down. Then you will need like some paint stirrers. You could use like some sticks from a tree. Find different objects. You're going to use these to dip into your paint and just splatter the paint onto your picture. Jackson Pollock, he was known for doing this. He didn't use paintbrushes a whole lot. And if he did use paintbrushes, he used like old ones that like never had the paint washed out of them, kind of like how some of the paintbrushes in the classroom are, because some of you don't wash them very well. But he would purposefully have these really nasty paintbrushes that he would use because he didn't brush paint onto the paper. He took the paint and he like flung it on the paper. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So for my example, I'm just gonna do something really easy. I'm just going to draw a heart and cut it out. I'm going to have it nice and big though. Well, kind of. With this project, you can do it one of two ways. You can do it kind of similar to the one that I have right up here. For this one, I laid down something and I covered all of the space outside of the elephant. I went back afterwards and added, Bacon's been very needy today, sorry guys. I went back afterwards and I added like the gray and the black and the white on the outside. And this one I actually did make with just watered down acrylic paint. So on this one, I blocked off all of the outside of the elephant and I just had the paint splatter on the inside. Another thing you could do is you could do the reverse. You could block off this elephant part and then splatter paint all on the outside. So it would be, all this color would be out here, and then all of the elephant itself would be white. You can do whichever one you prefer. So, you're going to draw out your thing, you're going to cut it. If you are blocking off all of the outside and just leaving the inside, you will need to go back and like tape any of the pieces that you have to cut through. So like I'm cutting through this part right here, so I would have to go back and tape that up. So I'm going to cut out my heart. That nice and So with Jackson Pollock's paintings, he didn't do like the different little cutouts like this. He literally just covered an entire canvas with a ton of paint. He went through like gallons of paint. His paintings were also really big. If you ever get a chance to see him in a museum, it's kind of crazy how big his paintings are. And a lot of the times he would just straight up, he would walk on top of his canvas that he was throwing paint on. Sometimes he would throw dirt into it to help add more texture, and things like that. So if you want to, you could get creative. Maybe if you have glitter lying around, you could throw glitter onto yours, things like that. All right, so I have my heart cut out. I'm gonna actually cut this a little bit so that way it goes on my paper nice and easily. All right, so I have this. Now I'm just gonna have this laying down on my paper like this. Because I still have some paper showing, I could do one of two things. I could just try to be super careful, or I could do the smart thing that's not lazy and take my extra cardboard and cover it as well. What you'll want to do is you might want to tape down the sides. However, this inside part, you can't put tape, otherwise when you peel off the tape, you'll have little like tape marks that you don't want there. So the best thing to do is to find some kind of like heavy things that it's okay if they get dirty to put on top of your stencil and weigh it down. That way, whenever you're flinging paint, it's staying right here in the heart and it's not going out through the sides. So I'm going to move outside and show you how to fling your paint onto your paper. Alrighty, so I moved outside, kind of. I was actually gonna go outside, but it's snowing. It's April and it's snowing. It's April and it's snowing. We are stuck at home. Life isn't real anymore, you guys. All right, so instead I am in my screened-in porch. So ignore the patchiness. I am one of those people that has gone a little stir crazy and started repainting things. So I don't have a lot of room. Usually whenever I do this, I like to stand up and actually have room to kind of like fling paint. But because of limited room, this is what we're working with. So I have my paint right here. If you don't know, you do need to make sure that you stir up your paint really well. Otherwise, it's all like, it's kind of separated. It'll be very liquidy on the top and then the bottom will be really thick. You just have to stir it for a little bit. The older it is, the longer it might take to stir, but as long as it's been closed for like really well, it should be fine. So you can use more than one color. You can just use one color. It's up to you. For this example, I'm just going to use one color because I need my other paint. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paintbrush or your stick and you can just drizzle it slowly like this. If you want to kind of have like some control over like your movements, you can try to like make letters and things like that. You can go a little bit faster like this, just kind of going all over the place. The slower you go, the thicker your lines will end up being. If you go really fast, it's kind of like wispy and crazy looking. Then if you want, you can also take your paintbrush and, like I was saying earlier, literally just splatter it like that. Again, I'm not going to go too crazy because I don't want to get paint all over me and my wall. But that is essentially all you do. Then you do need to leave it just sitting still. If you can carefully pick it up and move it someplace. Don't take the cardboard off though until it's like nice and dry. Otherwise, it'll just ruin it. You have to be patient. And I know how hard that is. Me personally, anytime I do any sort of art that has like tape on the border or like cardboard like this, I'm just so excited and eager to just like peel it off, and I can't wait, especially with tape, because it's one of those like oddly satisfying videos. But you do need to try to be patient with this. So that's literally all you have to do. I am going to add a few pictures at the end of this video to show you what some of my former students have made. There have been some really neat ones, like a Vans sign. There was a wiener dog one that was really cool. I might, if I can find a picture of this old Pokemon character that I did, I'll throw that in there as well. Because I think this one is a really fun project. Try to cover up like the entire area that you have like your stencil cut out of. Try not to leave any white spaces in it, especially if you're leaving the background white. You don't want white spaces because otherwise it might be kind of hard to tell what your shape was. Another thing you could do is once that dries, if you really wanted to, you could take the part that you cut out, smack it down over it, and then do the background. So you could have like one color, one the other color. Totally up to you. I really hope that you guys have some materials to do this one. I know not everybody has acrylic paint. I know not everybody has this kind of paint. But I do think this is a really, really fun project. And if you do get to do it, make sure that you send me the pictures. That way you can get credit for actually completing a project. And so I can see it, because I just miss seeing your projects and I miss seeing all of your beautiful faces every day. So that's going to be it for today. Check out the website for the presentation and anything else that you need. And make sure that you email me if you have any questions. All right, bye guys.